Shaboo! Welcome to Destiny Children's TV!
Let's get ready to rumble!
Y'all ready for this?
Hey everybody, welcome to Destiny Children's TV. Today we are so glad that you joined us.
Yes, we are. We're continuing our series today looking at what God says about us because it's what He says that is most important. But before we get to that, you know what we're going to do. We're going to worship Jesus. So you're going to want to make some space. You're going to need to spread out because we're going to put loads of energy and enthusiasm into it, aren't we? Are you ready? Let's go.
My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. In the beginning, God made everything. God simply spoke and the world came to be. He sent a flood and made everything new. He parted the sea and let his people walk through. He helped a boy bring a giant right down. Joshua marched, the walls fell to the ground. These acts of power are worthy of praise. But if you want to question my God and his ways, I'll look you in the eye and say, my God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. Though we are sinners, he still gave us worth. God sent his son to live here on the earth. He healed the sick, he made blind men see. He let the lame walk and he set the world free. He died on a cross and he rose from the grave. He conquered sin, he is mighty to save. He went to heaven and he's coming back. God's word is true, but if it's attacked, I'll look you in the eye and say, my God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. I want the world to know about my God. I wanna live so the whole world can see that my heart has changed, I'm forgiven and new. If people need proof, may they see it in me. Let's look the world in the eye. Let's look them in the eye and say, my God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. I'm not afraid because God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do. My God is so big and so strong and so mighty. There's nothing my God cannot do.
I want to
that you are good. You are good in the sun or rain. My life celebrates that you are good. You are good with a cry of praise. My heart will proclaim that you are good. You are good, and in the sun or rain, my life celebrates. You are good. Yes, you are good. And I'll sing because you are good, and I'll dance because you are good, and I'll shout because you are good. You are good to me, and I'll sing because you are good, and I'll dance because you are good, and I'll shout because you are good. You are good, so good to me. So good to me. So good to me.
Psalm 139.
Lord, you have examined me, so you know all about me. You know when I sit down and when I get up.
You know my thoughts before I think them. You know where I go and where I lie down. You know everything I do.
Lord, you know what I want to say even before the words leave my mouth.
You are all around me, in front of me and behind me. I feel your hand on my shoulder.
I am amazed at what you know. 'Tis too much for me to understand. Your spirit is everywhere I go. I cannot escape your presence.
If I go up to heaven, you will be there. If I go down to the place of death, you will be there. If I go east where the sun rises, or go to live in the west beyond the sea, even there you will take my hand and lead me. Your strong right hand will protect me.
Suppose I wanted to hide from you and said, surely the darkness will hide me. The day will change to night and cover me.
Even the darkness is not dark to you. The night is as bright as the day. Darkness and light are the same.
You created every part of me. You put me together in my mother's womb.
I praise you because you made me in such a wonderful way. I know how amazing that was. You saw my bones grow as my body took shape, hidden in my mother's womb.
You saw my body grow each passing day. You knew that I was there. You saw me before I was born. All the days planned for me were written in your book before any of them ever began.
Your thoughts are beyond my understanding. They cannot be measured.
If I could count them, they would be more than all the grains of sand.
And when I wake up, I am still with you.
This week we're continuing on looking at the series on what God says about us, what God says about you. You know, there are loads of people who will say all sorts of things about us, some good things, some bad things. The thing that matters the most is what God says about you. And we've just heard there some amazing things that God says about us. You know, you are made by God. We looked at that just a couple of weeks ago, the fact that God created the heavens and the earth and everything in it, including you and me. You are made by God. That means that you are a wonderful, amazing creation of God. If you ever wonder just how amazing you are, go outside and have a look at a blade of grass, a leaf, hold it in your hands, Feel the texture. Look how deep and how many different shades of green and colour there are in it. Think about a blackbird that's just black, but it isn't just black. When you get really up close, you see all the different shades and textures and colours that are just in a simple bird. And those are just part of God's creation. You know, you and me, we are God's sons and daughters. We are children of God. How much more effort did God put into making you and me? We are special. That's what we are looking at today. The fact that you are wonderful.
Rob is black and Rob is white. No colour at all, just dark and light. But Rob does not like black and white. He'd like to be a brighter sight. Then one day, Rob looked up at a rainbow sky. He looked up and wondered why, if there is red and pink and blue, could he be rainbow coloured too? Wow, I wonder what it would be like to be different. Could he be red, just like a fox? A red fox giving chickens shocks. But Rob is not red and cunning, he's black and white and bad at running. Why don't you try orange? Could he be an orange orangutan? An orangutan in a jungle gang. But Rob could not live in a tree, he's black and white and would miss the sea. Why don't you try yellow? Could he be yellow like a lion? A yellow lion as strong as iron. But Rob is not a yellow cat, he's black and white and that is that. Why don't you try green? Could he be a green crocodile? A crocodile with a snappy smile. But penguins are not crocodiles, they're black and white and walk for miles. Why don't you try blue? Could he be blue like a whale? A big blue whale with a tail. But Rob could not be big and blue, he's black and white and quite small too. Why don't you try purple? Could he be a purple butterfly? A butterfly up in the sky. But Rob could not fly to and fro, he's black and white and walks on snow. Why don't you try pink? Could he be a pink flamingo? A pink flamingo from San Domingo. But Rob could not be a pink bird, he's black and white, have you not heard? Rainbow Rob could not decide which colour he liked of those he'd tried. What's so wrong with black and white? We think black and white's alright. Zebra, badger, panda too, we're black and white, just like you. Rainbow Rob's dream was done. He'd made some friends and had some fun, but most of all, he'd learnt to see being yourself is the way to be. Today's Bible memory verse comes from Psalm 139, verses 13 and 14. You made my whole being. You formed me in my mother's body. I praise you because you made me in an amazing and wonderful way. What you have done is wonderful. I know this very well. You know, we don't always feel amazing and wonderful, do we? And yet that is what God's word says that you are. You are amazing and you are wonderful. So every morning I want you to remember that God made you and that you are amazing and you are wonderful. You are his child. Let's say that again together. Psalm 139, verses 13 to 14. Are you ready? You made my whole being. You formed me in my mother's body. I praise you because you made me in an amazing and wonderful way. What you have done is wonderful. I know this very well. You are wonderful. You are amazing. You were made by God.
Oh, hi, Grandma. What you doing?
Oh, it's a surprise.
Oh, really? For who?
Oh, for you, Dusty.
Oh, wow, thanks, Grandma. What is it?
Well, I can't tell you that
or else it won't be a surprise, will it?
Alright, alright.
I'm doing it because Pastor Steve told me to.
Oh, really?
Yep. He said today on Destiny TV is all about making scarves.
Oh, so you're making me a scarf?
Oh, no, for goodness sake. I wasn't supposed to tell you. That's because you keep going on about it. Ugh.
Oh, well, sorry. Did you mean Pastor Steve told you that's what today is about? What do you mean?
He said it's all about knitting.
Knitting?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. He said it's all about God doing some knitting.
Really? Does he make scarves?
Yes, I'm pretty sure he does.
I don't think he'd be very good at it, though.
Oh, why not?
Because they would all be holy. Ha ha!
Oh, Dusty. Anyway, what do you think?
Well, oh, wow. Thanks, Grandma, that's great.
Oh, you're welcome. You're going to need it because the days are getting colder.
That's true. Although I'm not sure Pastor Steve really did tell you that today was about knitting. What was the Bible verse that he gave you?
I think it was Psalm 139, verse 13.
Okay, let's have a quick look. Oh, Grandma. It says, "You knit me together in my mother's womb."
There you go, you see, it's all about God knitting.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean like a scarf. It means like he made us. You know, it says we are wonderfully made and he knew us even before we were born. That's what it's trying to say.
Oh, well, in that case, I better stop with Grandad's one then. It's already a bit too big, I think. Help! She's the craftiest lady in the whole wide world. It's time for Jackie's Craft Gold.
Had another good week. Today we're going to make something that's slightly different. It's still paper craft, but it's a fish that you can sort of interact with and get a bit of a swimming motion on. So you could use it as a puppet or anything else that takes your fancy. And obviously it doesn't have to be a fish either. You could use this technique to make a number of things. Now what you will need is some paper. I made this one with some of my painted paper. It's a little bit heavier, and as you can see, it just makes it move a little bit less. So the one I'm going to show you today, I'm going to make out of some old wrapping paper I had lying around, just to see what difference that makes. You're also going to need some glue, some scissors, a marker pen, and some tape, and something to use as a stick. Now I am very literally using a stick out of my garden. You could find a stick that's fallen down on one of your walks, but you could equally use one of the longer ice lolly sticks or a skewer or even like a knitting needle or something like that if you have one of those in the house. And that's about it really. So the main thing you're going to need obviously is your two fish shapes. So they need to be similar to each other as possible. So the easiest thing to do is to get two rectangles as I've got here and pop them together and cut them out at the same time. Because this is wrapping paper, it means it's a longer piece, so I can keep this side as well, which just helps. If you then just fold it along the long line like that, because we need to do that later anyway, what you need to do, you'll see from the one I made before, this is basically just two triangles. So I've got one longer triangle this side and one shorter triangle that side. So if you want to draw a template, by all means do so. If you're a bit, you know, cavalier like I am, just go for it really. So I'm just cutting out my longer triangle. So I'm going from one end of my rectangle over to one side. There we go. And now my shorter triangle to create the face side. So they don't have to be exactly identical, just somewhere similar is fine. And we now have our two basic fish shapes. So
as I said, we do need to fold them in half, because what we're then going to do is cut lines through it. So you'll see here we've got our apex of the triangle here. So you want to cut the long triangle but leave the short triangle without any cuts in it at all. So what I'm going to do is just start just behind that apex point. And don't cut all the way through, leave some attached on that side there. And then it doesn't really matter, but about every ½ centimetre or so. And again, leaving that ½ centimetre join up strip at the other end. That's just to let us glue them all together in a minute. So you need to do this with both fish, and you need to keep going all the way down to the end of the tail, down to about, say, there. Okay. So the first thing you want to do once you've finished doing all of your cuts is to attach your stick or your knitting needle or whatever you're using. Now, in theory, you could glue this, but to be honest with you, I just found taping it so much better. So I have a very long piece of tape here. You could do it with short pieces on sideways. This is quite a fat stick as well, so yours might be a bit skinnier, might be a bit easier to deal with. You just want to attach that there. And that's just going to firstly give you some stability with your fish, but it also is going to give you something to hold on to. Because that stick is so fat, I'm just going to put another piece of tape on this side. Now you don't see this, so it doesn't have to be pretty. So once we've done that, we then need to attach our tail. So here are my 2 triangle pieces that I'm using for a tail. Now if you happen to have paper that's got a picture or colour on both sides, you wouldn't need to stick 2 pieces together like I am doing. But that's just to cover up the white, really. And all this is a triangle offcut, or 2 in my case. And we're just going to stick that to the pointy end of the fish down here. And then we need to stick our 2 fish together. So what we need to do, it's a bit tricky with lighter paper, is put some glue around all the edges. And you can put a bit more on the face because that's obviously a bigger solid piece. But don't put any glue on where the cuts are, because that's what gives you your swimming fish kind of effect later on. And then you need to glue them together. Now if you can, when you do your fold, when you're doing your cuts, just make sure if you've got one coloured paper like I do, that the bend is on the outside, because the fish will just function a bit better. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't happen though. Okay, so that's those all glued together. Then all that's left is to pop some eyes on. Now this week I have cut some eyes out to match his tail, and I'm just going to draw a pupil on here. And I did put some eyelashes on my other one, and I quite like that, so we'll do that as well. And you would put an eye on the other side. And then to get his mouth, just take your scissors and on that point there, just do a little cut in, and then fold that side up and that side down. And that just gives you that lip effect there. And then as you can see, this one's a bit more bendy, so it can swim a bit better. So have a play around with different types of materials that you're going to use in making your fish, and see how it all turns out. And as always, don't forget to send your pictures in to us, and if there's something that you'd like us to make on the craft segment, just let us know. Have a great weekend.
She's the craftiest lady in the whole wide world. It's time for Jackie's Craft Gold.
Thank you, Jackie, for another great craft. Kids, we love to see you getting involved with the craft, with the worship. So whatever you'd like to send us, photos and videos, please send them through to steve@destinychurch.co.uk.
Yes, and head over to our website, destinychurch.co.uk, where you can get this week's activity pack. That's full of so much fun stuff for you and your family to enjoy. Parents, while you're there, you can also subscribe to Destiny Church's email. We send out just 2 emails once a week.
And whilst you're here, please do hit subscribe on our channel here. You could give this video a like and a thumbs up, and feel free to share with all of your friends. It's been another great week together. We're really pleased that you joined us, and we really want you to remember this week that you are wonderful and amazing. God made you. He's got good plans for you. So whatever anybody else might say, let's remember it's what God says that counts. And He says you are amazing and wonderful.
So thank you for joining us this week. Remember, you can go back and watch previous episodes of Destiny Children's TV here on YouTube. Just click on the Destiny Wakefield badge and check out Destiny Children's TV. Thank you for joining us. We shall see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.
We were talking and Ziggy said that he was faster than me, and I said, no you aren't, and he said, yes I am, and I said,
Okay, I get the picture.
anyway, now I'm a bit sad.
Oh, why, Dusty?
Well, Ziggy is faster than me. That means I'm slower.
Well, that's okay, isn't it?
No, it means that compared to Ziggy, I'm not very good.
Oh dear, Dusty, haven't you been listening to what Pastor Steve and Vanessa said this morning?
Was it something about God?
Oh, Dusty. They were telling us that we don't need to compare ourselves to anyone. You are great being you.
Well, you compare yourself to that lady down the street.
What? I do not.
Yes, you do. You saw her wearing some fancy clothes one day last week.
What?
And then the next day, you wore your fanciest clothes because you were comparing yourself to her.
Well, I don't think that's true.
Yes, remember? You borrowed Elder Graham's pink feather boa.
Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe we do need to all stop comparing ourselves to other people.
Good idea, Grandma. It doesn't matter if I'm slower than Ziggy, and it doesn't matter that you wear horrible clothes.
Hey! Watch it, you! I think it's time we said goodbye to all the boys and girls at home.
Me too. Have a great week, everybody, and stay safe.
Goodbye! See you next time!